Good morning and welcome to the show. I have an old friend here in the studio today. You might know him from Talk Radio 101's Daryl Day Show, but he is also a well-read guy, a Renaissance man, an avid outdoorsman, a realtor, and a contractor. What don't you do, Daryl Day?
Well, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still working on it. But I like that Renaissance man part.
You are a Renaissance man. I mean, now, if you look at this set, and you look past the beautiful faux hand furniture that we have here, and you look at these walls, Daryl Day built all of this.
Yeah, we knocked this out, what, a couple days?
Yeah, it was like 2 days. You're in, got out, nobody got hurt. It was great. Yeah. And it was just I get so many compliments on this set,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, you did a great job.
I think every man should be able to do that.
Well, okay. Well, you know, I'll make up for my manhood in other ways, you know. But on that twisted
G-rated show, Don.
It's a G-rated show. It is a morning show. And you sell real estate,
Sell
too.
a real estate broker with Keller Williams Success Realty out on the beach, Great company to be with.
And you've got a really successful talk radio show on
We're
Talk
doing real well.
101.
Doing real well. I think at 35 and up, we were #1 radio show in Bay County.
Oh, wow. 35 and up. So, you know, you have a little different audience than I do. But
I think we were #3 overall, which for a talk radio show, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
I think that maybe their dial got accidentally stuck on my station.
No, that reset
Manufacturer's defect of some kind.
Yeah, I'm sure it was an accident. Yeah. But, you know, you're very engaging in that respect. Now, and I know you talk about a lot of national issues, you know, like all the crazy stuff that's going on all over the world and the country. But sometimes you address local issues, too. And I had a friend of the show on not too long ago, Wes Pittman on the show. We talked about spring break. And, you know, it's a little worrisome to me, as the conservative family guy that I am, that this kind of mayhem is breaking loose. Now, I'm not against spring break. I think it's great.
And I don't think anybody is.
Yeah.
I think we're a little concerned. And I'm approaching this as a citizen. Also a citizen of Panama City Beach. You know, my family moved out there in 1923, so I've seen a few spring breaks myself. It has gotten to be unruly a bit more, and I recognize college kids, they want to blow off some steam. I'm all for that, and I'm sure you are too, but I think that we're pushing the edge of an envelope that we do not want to open. And I think it was Frank McKeithen that may have said we're one beer bottle short of a real full-scale riot.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to push that envelope. You know, a lot of people say, you know, what will we do without spring break? I don't think we need to do away with spring break, but I don't know that we need to spend the kind of money that we are spending to bring it here in the numbers that we are. And who knows what Panama City might be without a spring break? Will we ever find out?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out.
You know, and it's not necessarily the college kids that we're worried about. There's these so-called 100-milers.
I think that's 300-milers, really.
Yeah, perhaps. And so there are people who are up to mischief here. There are also people that prey on the college students that come to this town. And there's a fair degree of crime and underage drinking and drugs that goes on. And, you know, when Hannity does a special on Panama City Beach on spring break, and that's how the country knows us, I think something's wrong.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to get mad at Hannity either.
No.
He came in down and filmed what was going on. My concern is we've had a lot of shootings in our area, which is very troubling. And my question is the 100-mile, the 300-mile club, when they come down for spring break, are they finding this a fertile field to stay? And is that a corollary effect of spring break? Now, I don't know that it is, but something else is going on. I'm just simply saying that you know, there's a lot of good ideas in the works to fix spring break, but you have to be careful that you don't trample on other people's rights.
Yeah, and that's a question we'll have to address on the other side of this break. And the weather brought to you by the Wes Pittman Law Firm, westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here in the studio this morning with my friend Daryl Day, and we're talking about Panama City Beach. Now, we kind of beat up the beach a little bit about the whole spring break thing, but it really is a great place to visit, isn't it?
Oh, the best place. It's the best place in the world.
Yeah.
World's most beautiful beaches. That's true.
Yeah.
We've just got some things that we have to, you know.
And you're a native. I've only been here about 16, 17 years now, only. Now, you grew up here, so you've seen a lot of changes here.
A whole lot of changes, yeah. You know, there was a time when you could see the beach. Now you can't see because of the condominiums, but hey, that's private property.
Some changes are good, some changes
are good,
not so
some
good.
are bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of beach restoration. I believe that it changed the color of the beach. It took away from the natural beauty of the beach. We've put sand where sand never was before.
So what do we do? But what are the good things that remain that you may remember maybe from your childhood?
The good thing is, well, we got a beautiful Gulf. We have a beautiful bay. We could do some things to help the bay. Open the old pass would be one thing. Why wouldn't you move to Bay County? I mean, why wouldn't you come here? Even if you were an industry that was trying to relocate somewhere, why would you choose Alabama over Bay County? Of all places.
I happen to like Alabama.
Well, sorry, Alabama
says the guy
fans,
from New York. I happen to like Alabama.
I'm just simply saying, if you had Alabama, Bay County. But why would you do that?
I would like to say about Florida, because I have relatives on the New York side of Florida. The further north you go in Florida, the further south you get.
That's right, and the opposite is true too, Don. The further south you get, the further north you get.
And we just got back from visiting relatives in South Florida, and I got back here. People are so much nicer here.
Yeah. We could probably cut Florida literally. Now I'm being serious. We could probably cut Florida in two. We could probably have a
our own state.
Well, we could have a South Florida, North Florida.
Yeah.
And because South Florida is unlike North Florida, and North Florida is unlike South Florida.
It really
doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's unlike.
Well, a lot of states are like that, though.
Yeah. Well, we could pick up 2 more senators here in North Florida.
Well, how about that? Let's start a new state. I'm on it. I think you need to take that on your radio show, Daryl.
We could do that.
Yeah. Well, if people want to get in touch with you about real estate or about contracting and all that stuff, how do we do that?
Well, you can get in touch with me through Keller Williams Success Realty out on the beach. The easiest thing to do is call me at 850-774-6702. Right. And I'll be able to help you whatever you need.
And in the meantime, you can listen to the wit of Daryl Day on Talk Radio 101 from 6 to 9 weekdays.
Every morning, Talk Radio 101.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Daryl. It's always great to see you, and thanks for the set.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back after your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hi, this is David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. Today we're going to be talking about brakes. It's a great thing when your car runs right, but it means very little if you cannot stop. If you're maintaining your vehicle on a regular basis, you're rotating your tires every 6,000 miles. A good service technician, when rotating the tires, will be inspecting the brake system. They'll be looking at your brake pads, your brake calipers, your brake hoses, and your brake rotors. It's up to that technician to come back out and tell you, the customer, that you're getting close to needing a brake jobs. Brake jobs are a very simple process. A sign you can tell by yourself if you're going to need a brake job is a vibration. You get a vibration in the steering wheel, or you get a vibration back in the seat when you're applying your brake pedal. What this is your brake pads are closing in on your brake rotors, and your brake rotors are getting warped. They're warping left or warping right, getting high and low spots. And when you press your brakes, it creates a vibration which you feel back into your steering wheel and back in your seat. You'll know you need a brake job when you hear a high-pitched squealing noise coming when you're braking. Now that squealing noise will come when you're pressing your brakes, and sometimes you'll hear that squealing noise when you're just driving down the road. What that is on the brake pad, there's a little tab, and it's a hardened metal, and it makes contact to the rotor. When it makes contact to the rotor, it emits a high-pitched squeal. That's your car telling you you need a brake job. And when you hear that noise, get your car to a shop as soon as possible, because a simple brake job is going to turn into an expensive brake job before you know it. I'm David Lovett, and this has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hey folks, this is Joshua Brown with Mad Hatter on 23rd Street. Is your check engine light on? If it is, text MADHAT28, that's MADHAT28, to 24247, and we'll check it for free.
Welcome back to the show. I have Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial here in the studio to talk about your retirement. We talked about a lot of different things like Social Security over the last several weeks, but what about health care? Isn't that a substantial part of your expenses as a retired person?
Oh, absolutely. It makes up somewhere around 30% of what your expenditures will be in retirement.
That's huge. I mean, so 30% out of your nut is a lot of dough. Now, can you offset that somehow with Medicare, Medicaid? I always get those mixed up, or Affordable Care Act and all that. Or are there other things that we can bring to bear to to help us get the health care we want in
Well,
retirement?
you mentioned Medicare, Medicaid. Of course, when you reach 65, you are eligible to receive or eligible for Medicare benefits, which is obviously a government funded program. You have premiums and things that you pay, and that's really your option unless you're maybe a retired Air Force or a retired military. That's your option for health care when you reach 65 or older. Under 65, your options would be your health, something that maybe you brought from where you worked, insurance that you can carry from your employer, or looking to the Affordable Care Act as an option as well.
And again, I'm sensing the theme that everybody's situation is unique. You know, like somebody like myself, a retired military officer, I'm pretty well set insofar as health care is concerned. But say you're a small business owner and you've kind of paid for your own health care along the way, you've got to do some substantial planning before you pull the plug at 65 or 67 or whenever you're going to retire, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the biggest issue too is I have a lot of people who are early retirees, so they're not at that age 65 where they can use the Medicare benefits. So they're having to look for other options, and it's very expensive. Even going through the Affordable Care Act, I have some clients that they're paying, $1,800 a month for care or for insurance. And then on the other spectrum, I have some that are maybe only paying a couple $100s a month for it.
Wow, that's a sobering thought. So you really, the time to start thinking about that, I guess, is during your working years when you're young. To kind of position yourself for that. It all takes a plan. Now, we talked a little bit about life insurance in the past, but what about long-term care insurance? I mean, we're all going to die, so we'll have life insurance. We kind of figure that. But some of us may not die. We may live a long time and need to have some sort of assisted living situation. How do you plan for that?
Well, 70% of individuals that are 65 or older, 70% of them are going to need long-term care.
Wow.
Now, the national average for just assisted living is about $40,000 a year. Now, if you have to be in a facility and have skilled nursing care and in your own room where you have 24-hour care, that runs about $80,000 a year. So especially if you and your spouse both need care, you're talking about putting a pretty big dent in your retirement savings, and you can use something like long-term care insurance to protect those assets, to relieve the burden, off of your children too.
So during your working years, you can purchase long-term care insurance, much like you would life insurance, right? And is it comparable in price, or is it more expensive? How does that all work?
It depends on age, and there's underwriting processes, so you have to go through health questions and things like that as well. But the optimal age, I would say, to purchase long-term care insurance is somewhere between your late 50s and your early 60s is going to be your best pricing, assuming you don't have any health issues or major health issues at that point.
Or maybe even younger, or do you think it'd be a waste of money to purchase that younger?
I don't believe in purchasing it younger. Maybe if you have a group plan that's available to you through your employer, those can be inexpensive. But I myself personally don't own an outright long-term care policy, and generally I do recommend that they wait till later 50s.
Sort of like my age, huh?
Right.
Thanks for depressing me, Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial. But no, it's a sobering thought. When you talk about 70% of us are going to need that, I mean, you really need to think about it.
And there's a couple of different types of long-term care insurance that you can buy, and I think you mentioned life insurance. A lot of insurance companies now are coming out with life insurance policies that also have long-term care riders, and I think you get a little better benefit from that because it serves two purposes.
Sort of like a bundle.
Yes, instead of a traditional long-term care policy, if you buy that and you never use it, those premiums are gone just like they would be with homeowners or car insurance.
Well, that's wise advice. Heather Noyes, thank you so much for coming on the show and depressing me. But seriously, we do need to do the planning, and we need to plan now. Sound advice, Raymond James Financial. Talk to a professional. See Heather Noyes. Welcome back to the show. I have Richard Brooks here in the studio today, or Rich Brooks, who is a Navy veteran, an alumni of the United States Naval Academy.
Yep.
Woo-hoo, my son goes there, so He's instant friend, and also an artist and photographer as well.
Yes.
Well, some might say artist, but you're a photographer.
Right.
And what got you started on all this?
Really, it was living here is when I first really started to get interested in photography, just because of the beach and the sunsets. Before I moved here, never been on the Gulf Coast, and they're the best here, and that's why I first started to get interested in it, and that's really what piqued my interest.
I
And
mean, some of
started
your stuff is just gorgeous. I mean,
Thank you.
And there are a lot of people that take pictures down here. There are a lot of people that paint sunsets around here. But I got to tell you, when I first met you at that celebration of the arts down there at Mackenzie Park, I was really taken by some of your work. I mean, it really is amazing stuff. How do you catch that moment? Do you just take a lot of pictures, or do you wait? Or
it's really having to understand how to be in the right place at the right time. The big thing around here, like you said, a lot of people love to go out and take pictures of the sunset. So the hard thing about it is trying to be unique and be different. And you have to find just the right angles and the right time of day, that the sun's in the right spot, and just look for unique aspects.
Yeah, and how do if somebody sees your art on this show, how do we get some of it? How do we buy it? I mean, how do we get in touch with you?
You can find me all over. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I have my own website.
Just look up Richard Brooks.
Yeah. If you can just Google Rich Brooks Photography.
Rich Brooks Photography.
And my website is just www.richbrooks.photography. That's it. No .com or anything like that. Just .photography.
Now, you recently just got out of the Navy,
right?
And you're a native New Yorker originally from Long Island.
Yes.
You grew up in Amityville. Woo! That's spooky.
Yeah, right around the corner from the house. Yep.
You never saw any ghosts or anything like that?
No.
So on the topic of art.
Yeah. No, my dad, back when he was a kid, right after it happened, he actually, one year at Halloween, him and a couple of friends, there was a huge crowd around the house, him and a couple of friends decided they wanted to spook everybody. So they got on a boat on the canal behind the house, came up the canal, and jumped out of the boat covered in sheets. This is on Halloween a couple years after it happened. So there's a ton of people at the house. And they came running through the backyard. People panicked, started screaming, running away. There were cops there. It was a mess.
The Amityville horror.
Yep.
And it was a total hoax, of course. And we'll talk more about that on the other side of this break. And we want to talk more about your art. I'm here with Rich Brooks, Navy veteran, artist, photographer, Renaissance man. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Navy veteran and photographer Rich Brooks. Rich, can you describe to me what this is about and how you got this shot?
Sure. This is a wave from St. Andrew State Park. Everything I do, I love to stay local, keep everything right around Panama City Beach. So this was probably back in the spring, and I was out in the water. And
so you were actually in the water when you took this?
Yes. Yeah. This was in the water. What I enjoy the most is actually shooting surfing and waves. So I was out in the water, and it was late in the afternoon towards sunset, and so that's you have the sun coming down behind the wave.
You see right through that wave. It's almost kind of translucent in that respect. And then this, I think I recognize this pier.
Yes, this is the county pier. I live right by the county pier, so if I look outside and see a nice sunset, I can just run down to the beach real quick and then
there you go. When you see something gorgeous going on, you just grab your camera and off you're right.
Yep.
Couldn't do that in Amityville, could you?
No, not these kind of shots.
Yeah. Now look at this one, and this is what I really like, this whole process of taking a photograph and making it look like a painting. And, it really is God's art when you see a sky like that.
Absolutely, yeah. All the different colors, it's beautiful.
And are there any kind of filters or anything on this?
No, not filters. There's a little bit of post-processing, editing. But what I try and do is there are a lot of different photographers out there that are you can call them artists for sure. They do a lot of great stuff post-processing. I'm more of a naturalist. I try and keep all my editing to a minimum and make it just as realistic as possible.
I noticed there's all these seascapes. I don't see any people in here. Do you do portraits or anything like that?
I've started to lately. This is how I started. Just going down to the beach and practicing on the beach.
Could you do one of me galloping through the surf on a white tiger?
Absolutely.
With long flowing hair?
Oh yeah. We got plans tomorrow.
we met at this art thing. You were a native New Yorker. You were going to do your time in the Navy here at the base, get out and go back to New York.
Yep.
Why are you still here?
It's the photography.
Really?
That's really what kept me here. Probably a year ago, I was planning on heading back to New York, going home, and just in the past few months, the photography started to gain some momentum. I got picked up to be what's called a local professional photographer for Surfline, who's a really, really large, major surf website.
So you decided to stay, and now Panama City is your home.
Now Panama City's home for me.
Or Panama City Beach.
Yes, I'm on the beach side.
So you're on the beach side. That's okay. I won't hold that against you. But Panama City is your home, and this is what makes Bay County great. People from all over come here and decide to stay. That makes you a bad Yankee.
Good Yankees. Still a Yankee though.
That's right. Good Yankees come here, spending money, go home. Bad Yankees stay. Rich Brooks, thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing your art with us. And good luck to you in your photography career.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And again, if somebody wants to purchase one of these, how do they do that?
www.richbrooks.photography.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.